I'll just say my statement speaks for itself, and I'm going back to China tomorrow.
John McCallum's restraint ended there. Once inside this Vancouver luncheon on Friday, he repeated the words that got him in so much trouble earlier in the week. Within 24 hours, he was fired, and the government is now in damage control mode.
Obviously, the comments that he made over the last number of days were not helpful and did not reflect the position of the government of Canada.
McCallum is accused of undercutting the government's position on the arrest of Meng Wanzhou. The Huawei executive was arrested by Canadian authorities on an extradition request from the U.S. Ottawa has gone to great lengths to argue there will be no political interference in Meng's case.
And as I said, I think Ms. Meng has quite a strong case.
But twice last week, McCallum advocated for Meng's release, musing some sort of deal could be cut between the U.S. and China.
And to think that he did this on his own without approval from the Prime Minister's office, I think is naive.
The Conservatives question if McCallum's real crime was getting caught and whether he was instructed to quietly deliver a China-friendly message. The Liberals say not true.
I think floating any type of suggestion in the absence of any factual basis is actually quite irresponsible, given that there are 2 lives which are at stake right now.
China is criticizing McCallum's dismissal. An editorial in a state-linked tabloid quotes a Chinese folk saying, "You cannot live the life of a whore and expect a monument to your chastity," accusing Canada of being hypocritical. The Prime Minister is now looking for a new ambassador, and he's being encouraged to put more resources into dealing with China.
Perhaps the Prime Minister would do well to have a special envoy like Jean Chrétien, who could be sent over to China to just focus on the detainees.
The second in command at the Canadian Embassy in China, Jim Nicol, is now in charge. His top priority is preparing for consular visits with the 2 detained Canadians in the next couple of weeks. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
For more on the impact of John McCallum's dismissal, we turn to someone who served as the Canadian ambassador to China just before McCallum, Guy Saint-Jacques, and he joins me now from Montreal. Mr. Saint-Jacques, can you just start by giving us a sense of how you think the dismissal of Mr. McCallum may complicate our relationship with China further?
Well, I must say first that when I learned yesterday that he had resigned, I was quite saddened because I feel for Mr. McCallum and his wife, but also this is happening at a very bad time, right in the middle of an ongoing crisis with China. But I think that, in fact, with him leaving his position as ambassador, it should help to clarify the Canadian position with the Chinese government, because otherwise, I think they might have thought that he was speaking for the Canadian government, that he was trying to provide messages on the Canadian position, and there was a risk also that this could undermine the legal process that has started.
What do you think it means for the Canadians who are detained right now? Should they be concerned about their cases now that there is no ambassador officially in place?
I think it creates a challenge. I don't think there will be a direct impact on the Canadians that who are detained. Although obviously it's always better to have an ambassador in place, and we have to be realistic. It will take a few months at the minimum before Mr. McCallum is replaced, and I think that's why probably it would be important for the Prime Minister to consider either to send a high-level envoy who would be tasked with trying to resolve the issue, or at least lower the temperature with the Chinese, because I think we are at the stage where we need a good face-to-face dialogue.
And when you say it should be a high-level envoy, do you think the government should go as far as sending Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland?
Well, I think it's obviously it's for the Prime Minister to decide, and there are a number of people that could go, but I think what is important is to send someone of some significance to show to the Chinese that we pay attention and we want to hear what they have to say. I think Mrs. Freeland would be a good choice, but on the other hand, also the National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister would also be someone senior, and it would send the message that we want to sit down and have a good discussion.
Mr. Saint-Jacques, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine.